You are listening to In Response, a legacy podcast. A show where three handsome guys talk about their favorite Magic the Gathering format, Legacy. This show is brought to you by createness@anycost.com and austrian-legacy.com. You can support the show at patreon.com/response_legacy. And now, lean back and enjoy.
Hello everyone and welcome to episode 29, our little green mailbag of
In Response, a legacy podcast.
I'm Philipp Klein
I am Daniel. And I'm Peter Plank.
and we're talking about legacy.
Most of the time.
And especially this time because we have some huge news. We had our Eternal Weekend performance in this episode, and also we have some great listener questions for you. But at first, I think we will start like we always do, with a little bit of private stuff, and probably the most private life at the moment of us three is the one that Daniel has. So Daniel, what has happened in your life at the moment?
Well, I celebrated our, now confirmed lockdown again with my third doses of vaccination.
Yeah, for our listeners who maybe don't know, Austria is now in the fourth lockdown because
Because of reasons.
because people are. I don't want to say it, but people are people.
Yeah, it's just that we want to be something like the leader in something, and yeah, we are the leader in Corona numbers currently.
Yeah.
So at least we are the best somewhere.
Yes.
Yeah. But anyway, I feel now pretty confident in having all three vaccinations. I was surprised that the third one was not that out of a knockout than, let's say, my second doses, which was horrific actually.
Oh yeah, I know. I think we wanted to meet up and then you couldn't
Yeah.
because you were so ultimately sick.
Yeah.
You haven't felt great.
Yeah,
You haven't felt good. You haven't felt passable.
I think it lasted for around 4 days actually, until I felt normal
Okay.
again. But this time I just had a, it is quite typical that your arms hurt during or after the vaccination. But besides that, there's nothing or hardly any side effects that I could have thought of and experienced. So it's quite nice.
Yeah.
Besides that, what can I also say? Not really much. I like to. I'm a little bit more into modern again. Actually, I mean, I don't want to deep dive into this now, but I had great success.
Oh, no.
Great success with Chant.
You failed us.
Yeah. I love the deck, or at least the current iteration of it. But of course, I'm not neglecting Legacy. I'm still on Storm and continuing to tweak the list a little bit. But unfortunately, we can't get to play all that often now due to the lockdown. Unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard from a lot of different people that Modern is really great at the moment. I think Cyrus Gorman Gill has tweeted something like Modern has something, it cures an itch that Legacy hasn't for a long time, or something like that.
That's true, yeah.
And yeah, I can't really say anything about Modern because I as you both know, I have sold my all non-legacy collection last year because our schedule for playing Modern is always too soon for me, and I think the last time I played Modern was 3 years ago. So yeah, I made the choice, and now I'm maybe feeling a little bit sad because sometimes I wished I could feel the same as you, Daniel, about the format.
I mean, I guess the time will come back for Legacy. I'm not sure if it will come now, since the Eternal Weekend has passed, and Wizard announced that concerning Legacy, they won't make any changes prior to Eternal Weekend. But I think also Legacy will feel great again for you. I mean, I'm assuming now that you don't have the experience that a lot of people have with Modern, since you're mentioning that.
Yeah, that's true, because I like to play some mid-range also in between the combo-y style decks. But yeah, you simply can't play any non-blue mid-range non-Ragavan decks, and it just feels kind of hard. And also, yeah, it's not just Ragavan for me, it's just Murktide. But that drifts up into a band discussion, and I don't want this here actually. So I think if you're ready, then we will switch to Peter. Is it okay?
Yeah, sure. Nothing to add.
Yeah.
Nothing to add here. So Peter, what happened in the last 3 weeks for you?
I mean, there wasn't that much happening. I mean, university stuff, yada yada. But one thing that came out that I was really, really excited about was the series Arcane on Netflix, which I watched. It was like...
Is this the League of Legends one?
Yeah, it's the League of Legends one.
Is this more like... I'm sorry, but just for me to know, I haven't seen anything of it. And I'm not a real big...
you can watch it.
I haven't ever seen League of Legends. But is this more in a drawing style, like anime or comic? Or is this live action?
It's animation, but a really, really unique kind of animation. It's... how's it called? Yeah, it's a really, really unique style. It was, for the first episode, it was a little bit of like getting into it. But yeah, the series was great. Every of the 3 arcs were really, really good because it was scheduled in 3 arcs. So the first 3 episodes, the next 3, and the last 3. The series was really, really good. They already announced the second season, I think not for 2022, but for 2023. So they will take a lot of time to make this one. It got 10 out of 10 from IGN. It got a 9.4 score on IMDb. It got 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. So the series is like really, really good. And it's currently the debate if Arcane or Squid Game is the best series that came out on Netflix this year. So
Okay, wow.
I really, really recommend for all of our listeners, and especially you two, to watch the series. You don't need any knowledge about League of Legends. Just watch the series, see the character development. It is really, really insane. And maybe the first 2 episodes, you have to kind of warm up to the atmosphere there, but it's really, really good.
I mean, it's kind of hard for me to get warm with this kind of series style, because I've tried to watch The Witcher, the animation style one, and I just couldn't get past the first 5 minutes.
Okay.
So that's not really what I want in a series or in a movie. I will definitely try it. Maybe I like it. So thanks for the recommendation.
Yeah, sure. So if nothing happens privately, I always have a series or a movie to recommend here. And Red Notice was a really good family adventure.
Yeah.
You can watch this one.
Yeah, I've heard today. Eternal Glory podcast also has said that the Red Notice was really good.
Yeah. I
So
mean,
I have to definitely watch this.
I agree. I have also seen this movie. So I can.
if you see the lineup and you have Ryan Reynolds and Dwayne Johnson, which the most hilarious thing I found out after that for some interviews that Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, is called TJ, which sounds like a small boy, and I found it
That's
hilarious. But yeah, the lineup was great, and the movie was a really, really fun thing to watch.
True.
And I am excited for the next movie they will make. I think they already confirmed there will be a second movie for Red Notice. Yeah. So, Phil, what happened to you?
Yeah, as our listeners probably know, I'm currently at my, how do you say this, in my education for making, what, it's kind of hard to explain because it's a Germany and Austrian and Swiss thing, because if you I'm a painter, so I make rooms nice and something.
Yeah.
And you milled the opponent out, yeah?
No, that's you.
That's Grindstone, yeah, I know.
But I work as a painter, and if you want to make your own company, you need to have a master's degree, but it's not a university master, so it's more of a, yeah, it's kind of hard to explain.
It's a
Actually.
different kind of certificate. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a different kind of certificate, and I'm in the middle of doing this. So it's kind of hard actually, and I do it besides my day job. So I'm in school every weekend, and that's, I don't want to say it's burning me out, but I don't really have much time for Magic or for something else at the moment, and so I'm not too pissed about the lockdown.
I am.
Yeah, yeah, I can totally understand it, and I'm looking forward when we can meet again. So for our listeners, if they are already hearing it, we are recording this remote.
Yep.
Yeah.
So and hopefully for the only this episode and next episode, and then we can meet up again. That would be great. Yeah.
I think we can make this happen.
And also, I'm sorry.
I think we can make this happen.
Yeah, for sure. And one thing I can tell from my private stuff is that I upgraded my setup a little bit. I have bought a new webcam, and I've installed some acoustic, how do you say this?
Elements.
It's called, yeah, some acoustic elements in my room. Elements. Isn't there a word for Noppenschaum?
I don't think so.
Like an.
It's kind of the nubbly thing on the condoms, and
Yeah.
Okay, that's great, Peter.
I am contributing something.
It's something, and maybe you can hear it. I'm not sure if you hear a difference, but I upgraded my microphone to a Rode NT1A, so we have now the same microphone in our setup.
That
Rode Bros.
Road Bros. That's true, yeah.
And the only thing I can also tell you is that I've played with Peter in the Eternal Weekend Sylvan Library on Sunday night.
Exactly.
How did it went
And
actually
it was
for
a-
you guys?
It was a great stream. I think I will start here Is this okay, Peter?
Yeah, go
Sure.
ahead.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. I'm just... I don't have these in my head. I have to look my matchups up. At first, I have dropped after 8 rounds. I haven't thought about playing 10 rounds. It was just too hard. I had such a huge headache for the last 2 matches, and I just said, okay, I am now... I finished 4-4. I'm now 4-4, and I totally missed my goal of going 0-3 drop. So that's okay. and I can drop with in peace with myself. Yeah, I've played my trusty old Turbo Phoenix list. It's the Burning Wish and Bird Alive Phoenix deck that I already played in Freising. I have the list still from Nick B MTG on Twitter, and it felt great. I gotta say, it felt great, although I just went 4-4. But the games were so much fun, and it's astonishing how good that 3 birds in the first turn are still in this Ragavan meta.
Yeah.
It's just so cool. And what's probably the most impressive what's the most impressive about all this is that I won my first match versus Doomsday 2-0.
That's nice, actually. How did you just have turn 1 Phoenix 2 games in a row?
I had game 1, turn 1, 4 Phoenix.
4 Phoenix turn 1, nice.
4 Phoenix, turn 1. It was a Phoenix in hand, an LED, and Ritual, and an Infernal Tutor.
Okay, nice.
So, and then in game 2 I mulled to 5 and had only I had a land, Right of Flame, a Phoenix.
This one.
Yeah, this one. And I think, did I have a Caval Therapy or an Unmask?
What was the
Do you
play?
know it, Peter?
I think it was a Cabal Therapy, if I remember correctly. So
I'm not so sure actually now, but the thing is, I went to turn 2, hardcast the Phoenix,
and it won the game.
and it won the game. Backed up by some Caval Therapies that I've
I mean,
drawn.
there's not much that Doomsday can do about a Phoenix on the board. And
He had the Doomsday in hand, I think. Am I right?
Yeah, I think so, and I called it with therapy. I have to rewatch it, but I know that I've won with one Phoenix on board and it went all the way. That's like Delver players feel, I think,
Yeah,
if they play Delver.
exactly.
And speaking of Delver, my second match was versus Blue Red Delver,
okay,
that I also won 2-1, which was kind of great because the first game was also decided by Unmask into 3 Phoenixes turn 1, and the second match, the second game, I lost pretty horrific versus Ragavan, Darcy, and Murktide Regent. and game 3 was very great because he had already Ragavan, Murktide Regent, and Darcy also on the battlefield, and I was on 7 life, I think, but I managed to storm off for 5 with the empty warrants I've drawn, and he was on 16, and then I burning wished for Goblin War Strike and burned him for 10, and he just gave up. So I've got my first Goblin War Strike win in the fifth match. Of
Really
the
great.
Day. Yeah, it was just a good feeling. Then I went on to lose against Doomsday versus I think this was Monkeys Can Cry,
Yeah.
and he's a known player and he's a very good player, and you could see the difference between the first Doomsday opponent and this one.
Yeah.
He just killed me 2 times in a row turn 1, but I managed to steal game 2 at least. Also with 3 Phoenix on turn 1.
Yeah, Doomsday is a hard deck to play, for sure.
Yeah, I've talked with some people and they said Doomsday is a little bit kind of a toss-up for these kind of storm decks. So it's basically who wins the dice roll, or who goes first is favored. And I'm not so sure how my dice rolls went in this match. Then I went on to lose versus Blue Red Delver. So at this point it was just Doomsday Delver. And yeah, then I was 2-2, and it was I think 11 p.m. or 11:30 at this moment. And I was deciding, shall I play another one or shall I go to bed now? But I decided to go further, and then I was paired against 8cast, which I haven't played prior to this. And the first match was really hard. He had almost everything. Force of will and Force of negation. That's a lot of blockers in the air, and I couldn't really do something. But I managed to steal game 2 and game 3, and I can't remember how. The only thing I know is that I won this, which is otherwise horrible matchup.
Yeah.
And then I went on against Chant Hogak, which I lost 2-0. My only 2-0 in this or 0-2 in this tournament, and that hurt a little bit.
Okay.
It was Chant Hogak versus me.
Really?
Yeah. He had 2 times turn 3 lethal. I had game 1.
Okay, and you struggled to find action, basically.
No, I had 2 times turn 1 3 Phoenix.
Oh, okay. And
But it just wasn't enough because he was fast.
that's just Stompy heaven.
And that was kind of strange because when I played Hogak, I seldom had these hands. But it's okay. Sometimes these things happen. I can't really say something because I also had good hands. So yeah, that happens. Then I went to play versus Red Prison. There I lost the first match because of turn 1 Chalice on 1, turn 2 Chalice on 2. And I could beat the Chalice on 1 because I played a Pulverize in my sideboard and I had pretty much everything in my hand. And then he plays they played the Chalice on 2. And suddenly my Burning Wish into Pulverize don't work anymore, and I don't think Karkas Phoenix would have been enough.
Oh no, yeah.
So I conceded without showing him anything more than Volcanic Island. So I banked on him thinking I was Blue-Red Delver.
I think a good idea because a lot of people would expect Delver if they only saw something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, that was my plan, and I run it back my 60 for the second game, and yeah, I think they really haven't thought about Phoenix and got in turn 2 with three of them. So yeah, he played I think a first time Blood Moon, but I had the Petal and was easy win from there on, and I can't remember game 3 anymore.
Okay.
Yeah, it was at this point. It was I think 1 o'clock in the morning.
Okay. Yeah.
Am I right, Peter?
Could be.
Yeah, and the last one was versus
Should be, yeah.
Lands. Yeah, last one was versus Lands, where I won the first match, also on the back of my Phoenixes. This tournament was kind of strange because in Freising I have won so many games with empty warrants, and here I won primarily over with the Phoenixes.
Yeah.
So I'm really not used to it, to my plan A working this good. I also managed in this tournament to evade any endurance. So I haven't played a single match versus an endurance deck. Yeah, and then I lost 2 times versus Lands, 2 times a fast Married Lage.
Yeah.
And then I said, okay, I can't do this anymore. This is just too hard for me. It's after 2 in the morning and I need to go to bed now.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was my experience with Eternal Weekend. My first Eternal Weekend ever. And it was kind of great, but it would be way, way better if it was paper. And if it wouldn't be in such an ungodly time.
Yeah. Yeah.
So for you, Peter, how did you win? You played the whole event, am I right?
Yeah, I stayed up for the whole event. I played all 10 rounds. I mean, huge shout out to Kai Savatari and Zone Ender from our Discord. Without them, I think it wouldn't be possible. At this late of a time, you really, really need other ones that keep you focused, that you can talk to and do something. Yeah, I started the event off really, really hot. I won 2-0 versus Tess, then I won 2-0 versus Mono White Stompy. Yeah, it was kind of frustrating because this opponent had the first 7 or 8 minutes of the game he did nothing, and I just had to wait it out, which is really, really frustrating and can tilt you, but it was kind of okay because I could watch Fiddle play. Then I won against Mono Red Painter with a 2-1, where I had to play around the grindstones in game 1 that I can't really play the Painter out, and it was a little bit of a sub game how you want to combo. And I scooped game 2 after 3 rounds, where I was definitely not that on board, but it was a little bit lower in the time, and I wanted to have enough time for game 3, and I didn't want to use the time to come back, which was an okay play, and I'm glad I made it. Then I lost each 0-2 versus Mono Green Cloudpost, Blue Red Delva, and Band Control. Blue Red Delva was just hilarious. He just had everything.
Yeah, I've seen this game.
Yeah, Mono Green Cloudpost was Piffing Needle game 1, turn 2 against Grindstone, and double Piffing Needle game 2. Yeah, was just bad. Band Control, I think a little bit. I misplayed a little bit, and seems like matchup to train for me. Then I won 2-1 versus Cheska Sagaban, which was were also hilarious games. I think there was one game where I got meltdowned a 4-for-1 at turn 3 or something like that, and I had left a Mother of Runes and Plains, and I won the game on turn 30 or so with 10 cards left in deck, with double with double grindstone activations for 2 turns to natural mill my opponent for lethal because my painter were surgicaled. I had
Yeah,
4
this was
seconds
so
on the
great.
clock. It was like, insane. Yeah. Then I won 2-0 versus 8cast. Then an 0-2 versus Lance. I just can't beat the matchup, and I don't know why. I think I need to have more Blood Moon effects or something like that. But yeah, that's something I have to elaborate in future times. Then I won 2-0 the last round versus D&T for a 6-4 finish. Then I went to bed, and my 2 co-player or Kai and Sonan that were in the Discord, like one went to the gym and one was like, yeah, it's 9 o'clock in the evening and do something else. And I felt like it's 5 o'clock in the morning. I definitely have to go to bed.
But a little bit of side note here. It was really great streaming with you, Peter. And that's the thing. If you want to see us stream or join us when we stream such event, then head over to our Discord. We packed the Discord link in the show notes, and you can find the invite link also on our link tree or in our Twitter feed.
Yeah. And maybe I will do something like a challenge or a league or something else in the future, but I have to see because I cleared off my mana traders account, but maybe I will.
I have mana traders
reactivate.
again. I have reactivated it.
Yeah, maybe I will do it again, but yeah, next year is a little bit more healthier with the cost because I'm doing another job next year, so it should be in my budget.
Yeah, I will also definitely play a little bit more MTGO, especially now that we're in the lockdown.
Exactly.
So it's the only way to kill the urge to play some MTG.
Yeah.
And yeah, today I played a new brew of mine. It was inspired by the 5-0 decklist dump. Bro Velteen has 5-0 with Upsam Ephemerate Grief mid-range style build, and I promptly kicked out green and replaced it with red and made it worse, but I made it my style.
Yeah, Mado for the win.
Yeah, for sure. There will be a Mado deck. I'm not sure when, but there will be a Mado deck that's mid-range or aggro or something like that, and it will be glorious.
You can try Painter, but the kicked black.
That's a combo. That's a combo deck. No. I love my combo decks, but I want a Mado mid-range or aggro deck or control deck.
Yeah, you can. You can play
okay.
Dark Confidant instead of Painter and something else instead of Grindstone and take my list. I'm okay with it.
Yeah, that's probably the ready list that I'm also working on.
So, but I think we will get now to the main part of this episode, which
After 35 minutes.
yeah, exactly. Which is which are our listeners' questions. So we have.
Oh yeah, we had asked our listeners to send in all of the questions that they can think of, and even if they are ridiculous, we are answering them. And we've got some over Twitter, we've got some over our Discord, and yeah, why don't we start with the first one?
So, yeah, it was the discussion about mulled wine and Glühwein.
This
Yeah, because we haven't.
is the same,
From
right?
what-
Mulled wine is the same.
Yeah. Is it the same?
Yeah, it's
It
the
is.
same.
It is
It's
the
definitely
English
the
word,
same.
yeah, of
But yeah.
Glühwein.
But
Yeah, and we the Rocco111 from our Discord has said that the word we were searching for last time was mulled wine, and I think we have told you about glowing wine or something like that. But yeah, that would be the direct translation from German. So yeah, we meant mulled wine, and we are definitely in the season for it.
For sure.
Yeah.
I love it.
Oh yeah, it's great.
And then we have also this one is from Twitter, I think, from Kai Savatari. Give us your best explanations for Gmiatliche Hittn.
Yeah, good
So-
question. For
Yeah,
me,
Daniel, this
I
one's
mean,
for
I'm
you.
not the kind of guy that is typically hanging around in Gmiatliche Hittns, but what I would imagine is it is definitely a house made of wood, of course. It has some old dark wood. There must be some kind of a fireplace. And typically there is a lot of, I mean, you typically find it for our people in Austria in skiing areas.
Yeah.
What you can do is it is kind of like a restaurant, but everything is out of wood. You have, in the most ideal case, a nice fireplace, and it's just cozy. You sit together with your friends, and of course have some mulled wine, for example. A nice beer, or
a
what
nice
is the I
Or,
yes,
or you can
I
also
wanted
eat
to say that,
Germknödel there.
but I don't know the English term.
Yeah. Dumplings.
I'm not sure what the English word. Now we have the same situation like with the malt wine. What's? It's not a germ like the germ from the battle skull, but it's
Germ dumplings. is the English translation.
Whatever.
really.
So you have to experience
Yeast,
the germ
yeast.
token of a battle skull being translated into a good old dumpling.
They are
Nice.
yeast dumplings, so they're huge. They're like a little ball. I think
They're just great.
10 to 12 centimeters in diameter, and they're filled with plum jam, which is called Powidl in Austria.
With
check on
marmalade.
The words are getting ridiculous now.
Yeah, and we have how's it called? That thing where you make drugs out on it with butter.
What the fuck?
Yeah, Mohn.
Poppy seeds.
You mean poppy seeds?
Yeah.
These
It's
are
called
poppy seeds, yeah.
It's called poppy seeds. Okay.
Yeah, it's called poppy seeds.
You have poppy seeds on them with either a sauce of just regular butter or vanilla. So yeah.
Now I need some.
And yeah, I really, really feel the explanation of Daniel here. I would say literally the same except for I would have described it in summertimes. If you are going hiking, you go to the top of the mountain. There is also a building out of wood where you get inside, get the how's it called?
Cabin in the woods.
Yeah, you get the Spegiausen. It's
We're throwing the
German
Austrian
words out.
slang here around and everywhere, and
which is like a bread with bacon and onions, and yeah, it's something that you can really enjoy there.
oh yeah, that's true, and have a nice beer with it. Oh, that's great.
And what is especially important is that the light is not too bright, I think. If it's if the light is not too bright, it's a really, really good sign to be a Gmiatliche Hittn, I would say.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, definitely.
You need dim light
Yeah.
for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then you
The
have
light
a really
doesn't-
sexy atmosphere.
Exactly. So I think we can move on to the next question, which is advertisement alert. Who is our favorite Patreon supporter?
Ooh.
Oh, that's a hard one.
Yeah, that's
a hard
hard.
one.
I mean, we tried to do a ranking from the top to the worst.
I mean, I love all of them, so it's really hard to and kind of unfair to put us to the test here.
Yeah, I would say so too. But nevertheless, Gino, we would like to call you how you want to be called. Yeah, you know how you are.
And by the way, shout outs to Gino.
Yeah, by the way, shout out.
Yeah, our one and only Patreon at the moment. So hop on to patreon.com/response_legacy.
And join in on Gino. So yeah, a really, really important other question from Gino here. What's the best beer out there and why is it Freistädter Ratsherrn Premium?
I agree. I personally agree.
I'm not so sure if it's the best beer out there. And we are totally not sponsored.
I mean, out there is a very subjective determination, right? So
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, what does out there mean?
Yeah, probably in the world.
Yeah.
In the world, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, beer is such a subjective thing. I mean, what I can definitely describe as the best beer is in response a Zwickel, because this one will be really, really great. And by the way, between the last episode and this, we had a beer brewery lesson from one of our friends.
Yes.
Completely missed it.
So much to nothing has happened.
I mean, it's kind of normal.
Yeah, we're just brewing beer together. We're going to the cinema together, watch Dune, and nothing happens. No, nothing happens. All the time. Each episode is the same.
We don't talk.
We do things and forget them.
We don't talk about Dune because I don't think that it's. I mean, it was an okay film, but it wasn't like it was described from others. It wasn't like it's so insane. It was like the first 45 minutes of nothing happening, or the first 10 minutes of a little bit happening, and then 45 minutes of nothing happening, then half an hour of something happening, and then 50 minutes that made some progress in the movie. And I was like, there, fuck. And one thing that my girlfriend and I really, really hated, I think it should be the same for you, Daniel, too, because there was always this not so bright atmosphere in the movie, and then the camera moved directly to the sun and then back to really, really dark places, and every time my eyes like hurt. So
That's true, yeah.
yeah.
So not really a Gmiatliche movie.
Yeah, definitely the opposite of a Gmiatliche movie.
Oh yeah, back to the question from Gino. Yeah, it's probably one of the best beers that you can get in Austria. I'm pretty sure. But if it's the best beer in the world,
I would say Freistädter the Freistädter is like the best standard beer that we currently have in Upper Austria. It's like the one that you get for normal prices that is great to drink.
and it's not a craft beer.
It's not a craft beer. And most of the Austrians drink it, which is also important because
That's simply not true, because you just don't get it everywhere.
I mean, in our local distribution.
Yeah,
because
in our local distribution, yeah. But if you just bring it to the Salzkammergut to Gmunden, or you don't even get it anymore.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
it's
that's true.
really just in an area of about 30 miles or something where you can get it.
No, it's far bigger than 30 miles, I think. But yeah, I mean,
Maybe 50, but
yeah, I mean,
not really much more.
the Freistädter brewery is getting a little bit bigger, but yeah, we in Austria we have a big company that makes a lot of different beers, which is the Braunion. They make like Gösser. I
They have 8 or 9.
The Linz, they have a lot of. They are bought from how is it called? The
Heineken.
Netherlands. That
Heineken.
Heineken. Yeah, they're bought from Heineken,
Yeah.
and yeah.
Yeah.
So
And it's basically, if you want good beer, you simply buy something that's not bought from Heineken.
yeah,
Yeah.
And then everything's great.
yeah. I mean, there are a few good beer from the Braunion, but yeah, Freistädter is definitely better, I would say, for me. Okay, so let's move on from the kind of
Magic questions.
non-magic related questions to the magic questions. So we have a question from Markus Ewald. What's your favorite phase?
Ooh, that's hard. Daniel, why don't you start?
For me, it's easy, I would say.
Okay,
Draw step.
Ooh, okay, nice.
you have a reason.
Because I'm drawing a card.
So
And I'd love to draw cards.
so okay. So I move on. I'm gonna say the end of the second main phase of my opponent.
Okay.
Because I was a manaless stretch player, and if you have Street Rave with Narco Meeps and Price the Melgrams, it is really, really important to do this in the end of the second main phase and not in the end step, because then Price the Melgram triggers.
That's true. That's true.
So Phil,
I'm a little bit out of the way here because I love the upkeep.
Yeah, that would have been my second choice.
Yeah, the upkeep. There are just so many nice things that you can do in the upkeep, and I think the coolest things that you can do, like porting your opponent, or you have Dark Confidant triggers, or like today, ephemerate rebounds in the upkeep. so yeah, I gotta say, or Icarate triggers in the upkeep. So yeah, there's so many cool effects that are upkeep triggers that I'm pretty certain that my favorite phase is the upkeep.
yeah. So for the next question from Andreas Leopold Eder, which is one of our local guys, which deck do you prefer to play against, and which one you don't want to play against? So basically, what is your nemesis, and what are the decks you... I mean, in German we would say drive over, which you just completely dismantle. Let's start with you, Phil, now that you don't have any time to prepare, yeah?
I don't have time to prepare. I think it depends on the deck that I'm playing, for sure.
But in general.
But in general, I like to play versus Delver the most.
Yeah.
Actually. It's versus Delver decks, you're never really that far behind. And it probably stems from the idea that all my decks are either really, really removal heavy, or are a combo deck which are naturally good against Delver, like Hogak or Dredge, or kind of graveyard centric decks. So probably it's Delver which I like the most to play against.
Yeah.
And the decks that I don't want to play against are probably things like prison decks, Stompy decks,
Okay.
because the Trinispheres just always hurt that much. Or maybe the controlish decks, they just have too much. But that's really hard. I think I go with Death and Taxes here.
Okay.
Because they are always so how do you say this? Unscheinbar.
I mean,
Oh, that's hard. That's hard now. I need to Google this.
Inconspicuous.
Okay. I'll probably go with Death in Texas here because they're always so inconspicuous, but they're always such a huge powerhouse, and you think you have the game, and then they just go, okay, and then I have this, and then I have this, and then I flicker this, and then I flicker this, and the recruit of the guard, and I make this, and you're just, okay, what the fuck has happened now? So, yeah, I probably go with I prefer to play against Delva, and I hate to play against Death in Texas.
okay.
Yeah, that's a summary.
So, Daniel, for you?
When I started to think about it, the deck that I didn't play or don't want to play against was pretty clear for me. I have to agree with Philipp here. They are Stompy decks.
Yeah.
Because the games are decided just basically in the first or second turn, and that's just not Magic for me.
Yeah.
And this is also the reason why I don't play them, or the reason why I don't like to play against them is that I like to play against interactive decks that play out in little intricacies, like control decks. Actually, blue decks are one of my favorites. I love also to play against Delver because every decision is so crucial and matters a lot. I really like to play against matchups where tight play is rewarded, and this is the best feeling for me in Magic.
Yeah. And for me, it's I also like to play versus like the Delver decks. It's kind of like every decision matters, and it's most of the time, even for the small number of non games from them, like small decisions really matter. And if you play well the game, you will win. So I really like it to play against the Delver variants. And I don't go with Death in Texas because I have a local player that always loses to me, so I kind of like seeing him. I will go with Lance. Lance is always, for me, at least with the painted decks, a really hard deck to navigate against. It's, I don't know against which plan I have to fight a small portion of time. Do I have to respect Marit Large a lot? Do I have to respect other plans like the 3-man enchantment? And sometimes it's really hard for me to navigate this matchup. And I really have to learn the ins and outs of it. So yeah, for now I go with not Death in Texas, with Lance here. So now we have a question for our combo experts here. What is currently the best combo deck, and why is it Doomsday?
From Romario Neto.
From Romario Neto, yeah.
Yeah, a good question, and it is clear that Doomsday is the best combo deck for sure.
I mean, I kind of have to disagree here, because according to the data, the best combo deck that performed at the Eternal Weekends was not Doomsday. It was Upsal Spells.
Okay.
Yeah, that's just because the meta is weak to it.
Yeah. I mean, if I would also just look at my personal records, it would definitely be Ant as the best combo deck. But this is, this is just one focused view. I mean, I still think that Doomsday is probably one of the best decks.
Doomsday is definitely the best. I mean, Doomsday gets some hate, and the Graveyard hate currently is not that big, so Oops has definitely a little bit of an edge, especially with Blue-Red Delva moving down on forces. So
yeah. And that's always the case. If the arms race in Delver is that high like it is now, graveyard decks are
On the rise.
thriving. Yeah, they're really great, and that's also the reason why Reanimator is coming back big.
Yeah.
And just Oops is even a little bit faster than Reanimator,
Yeah.
and also a little bit more fragile. So, in this case, just the fastness or the speed just trumps it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it was a, Oops was probably a really good choice. I haven't thought of it myself, but like I said before, I haven't faced a single endurance. I haven't faced any real graveyard hate, not even ley lines or not even surgicals. It was kind of weird if I think about it. So graveyard hate is already at its lowest point. I mean, Force of Negation works versus graveyard decks really well, but Oops is really good at the moment.
Yeah.
But Doomsday is also, in my opinion, a little bit better.
Yeah, Doomsday is objectively, I think, the best combo deck. I would say spell-based combo deck because Paint is just better, but no. Doomsday is the best combo deck. And from a standpoint of really, really good players, it's 100% Doomsday. Because if you know the deck in and out, for example, like Kai, like Romario Neto himself, you are just that tight better.
Yeah, and that was the case, I think, like forever. But the piles are now so much easier, and
I think that
now you can win with Doomsday. I mean, before there was always a way to win, but it was just too hard to navigate, I think.
I think that the entry level with Thassa's Oracle just got the tiny bit easier, but I think to operate the deck you still need a lot of things to do.
Yeah, that's true.
And
That's true, yeah.
Yeah, I think with Thassa's Oracle it's a little bit harder to disrupt the combo, yeah. And yeah, I think we move on to the next questions. These are from Victor Bernards from Shoutout
Stockholm Legacy Report.
Exactly. What's our take on what the Austrian meta is? I mean, we know that our local meta in Linz is quite non-blue, we would say. And we've currently, or today we went through the history because we have it all on the website, austrian-legacy.com. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we have around 53% non-blue decks here. So only 47% are blue decks with a 19% tempo share, which is like Blue-Red Delva with 6.5%. Then we have Ninjas, Rag Delva, and which was the
Cheskaya Ragavan,
and the Cheskaya
Blue-Red
Ragavan.
Saga, and Death Shadow.
And Death Shadow, exactly. And what's surprising is, even though we have proxies allowed, the most played deck here is Death in Texas with a 10% meta share.
True,
So
yeah.
that's not our take. This is our rundown of the of the Austrian meta,
Yeah.
because we have data to back it up. If we go from a broader perspective to the whole of Austria, I think that the meta is still a little bit representative. I think it's a little bit more blue there because we have, if I remember correctly, a lot of control players in Vienna and Graz. And Linz is kind of the Maverick heaven or something like that, or the D&T heaven, because we have, I mean, not heaven, the guys played here. And yeah. I think
That's definitely true. And his second question was, which deck would you want to play but haven't dared to sleeve up?
I will start with this because we talked about the deck already. For me, it's actually Doomsday. I kind of want to play it because I like the Gift Storm thing that you can pull out a few cards from your deck and use those to win the game. But yeah, I mean, for our local meta, I have the proxies for the Underground Seas. I think I have the whole deck here. But it's just so that, I'm not sure if the deck is really something for me, especially with Daniel giving up on the deck and saying he's too bad for it. No, it's just not his kind of style.
Yes, this is two different kind of things. Yeah, but yeah, probably I'm also not that good at it. That's fine.
So yeah, Daniel,
But which deck haven't you dared to sleeve up?
I mean, what is meant by that I don't dare to sleeve it up?
I mean, I think you haven't also bought or something like that. Some deck that you really want to try, but either money issues or time issues have prevented it.
I mean, money issues and time issues is definitely all the Mox Diamond decks. So 4-color Loam, for example, looks like a deck that I really would love in Legacy.
Yeah, exactly, with your chant background,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
I think that this deck would be the closest analogon to chant in Modern, in Legacy.
Yeah.
And also the best and playable version. And
agree here,
I think that's actually it. All the Mox Diamond decks. And also lands to a certain extent. But first and foremost, 4-color Loam.
Yeah.
What about
So
you,
for
Peter?
you, Phil?
Oh, Phil, sorry.
I think I go with Peter here. For me, there are 2 decks that I already own, but I haven't sleeved up yet because I'm because I think of myself that I'm too inexperienced with it.
Is it Ice Station Zebra?
No, it's Doomsday, like in your case, and also it's Tess. Because the intricacies of both decks are just so hard, and that there's so minuscule decisions that you have to make to win, that I'm not sure if I can pull it off. So these are definitely the 2 decks that I have bought and I haven't sleeved up yet. Maybe I will do it.
Yeah.
Especially Tess. Tess is really, really interesting.
Yeah, I kind of agree. I mean, I have to buy the Chromoxes, but then I can try it myself, I would say. So, so we come down to the last questions from Zone Ender 120. Our top 5 picks to unban.
I gotta look the band list up here.
I already tooted it up. Here it is.
You okay. Perfect. Thank you.
The thing I'm missing here
I
is...
think I will start here now.
Yeah.
The top 5. So I think I'll start with the top 1 that I think is unbannable.
Yeah.
And that is Lurrus.
Yeah.
Definitely Lurrus of the Dream then. I still think with the change in the companion rule, Lurrus would be a very, very interesting card to have main deck for each, for every non-blue deck, for a Dead Guy Ale style deck, or something in this kind of direction. Would be really cool to have this effect in Legacy, and I don't think it would be too good.
Yeah.
For my number 2, it would be Frantic Search, because Frantic Search is, with all the power creep that we had in the last years, it's not too oppressive on the format or something. It would just empower one specific or two specific archetypes, which would be blue-black reanimator, maybe only maybe tin fins, and for sure it would empower high tide.
Yeah.
And I can totally live with that if these decks get better.
Yeah.
For my third pick, it would be Mind Twist, because I think it's a great card and it's nowhere near the power level that it should be banned. For my fourth pick, now the things get really hard. It would be Survival of the Fittest, because I like the play style. It just fits me. It fits me totally. But I hate the price tag that it's on.
Yeah.
And for my fifth pick would be, I don't see it here, but I think it would be Mind's Desire. I don't think Mind's Desire is too good for Legacy. Especially now with Force of Negation in the format, I think we can safely unban Mind's Desire.
Yeah. Okay.
And you, Daniel, what's your pick? What's your top 5 here?
I'm not sure if I can make up 5, but I can try. I think I have 2 routes to go here. What I think are the most unbannable cards, or what the cards do I personally want to be unbanned. But
Your personal top 5 unbanned.
I would also go for this approach, because I think it's kind of funnier that way. I actually, out of this list, there are 2 cards that I think a lot of people would hate me if I say these cards, but I really love to have back Senses Divining Top and Death Red Shaman. These are
I hate you for the Death Red Shaman. For the top is totally okay, but I hate you for the Death Red Shaman.
And I can get it, but I love Death Red Shaman. And for the Senses Divining Top, what I would actually do is I would vice versa ban Counterbalance.
That would also be my approach.
So that we just have top in our decks, in basically all of our decks. Then,
Yeah, for sure.
I love it, and Death Red Shaman is just a nice grindy creature. I mean, okay, we have this 4-color bullshit piles then that everyone is playing, but I kind of like this era. To add, I also love Gitaxian Probe. I would have loved to play Ant again with Gitaxian Probes. It was a very good experience. And besides those 3, I mean, there are a lot of cards that could easily go off the ban list, like you said, Peter. Frantic Search looks fine, and Mind Twist also looks fine. I just want to elaborate a little bit on Lurus, because I noticed from Modern, I have read a lot of discussions that Lurus might be a little too good for Modern, and some people say at least. So I'm not sure if this card would be good for Legacy.
From an outside perspective, I think Lurus is really, really good in Modern. Because
really,
currently
really strong,
the decks are so fucking low to the ground, with the only top end card is the sideboard Lurus. And if you see most of the top decks, except I think for the blue-red Delver list or the blue-red Murktide list, I think all of them are basically Lurus decks. Because you have like the Chant deck with Lurus. Then you have Hammer Time with Lurus. Then I think green-black Infect plays Lurus. I think most of the top decks all play Lurus, and it's just, a really, really good card. Because you in Modern, I think currently you go way over the top, play blue-red spells, or play Lurus. Is it correct?
Pretty much, yes.
Yeah.
But This is just my impression.
Okay.
What about you, Peter?
So if you go the janky route, I just want my decks to improve. I will continue on this one. So I will just have my Senses Divining top for Welder shenanigans. I want my Astrolabe back to play Painter with way more basics.
You're too ridiculous.
I want Maluros back to play the Madown on my down deck, so I can play all the good cards. Which are some other good cards that you want in Painter? Yeah, it's kind of hard. Maybe the Moxen. No, no.
Be realistic.
I think that you can safely unban Yawgmoth's Bargain. I don't think that this card is too good currently because we have like, how's it called, the 6 mana
Grizzlebrand.
artifact, Grizzlebrand, for example. No, we have Bola Citadel too, which is just, I think, better. And yeah, I'm not sure about Mind Twist, not because of the random factor, but the casual 3 mana or 4 mana, 3 for 1 or 2 for 1 can be kind of devastating if you splash just for the Mind Twist in the control mirrors, and it can make them really, really unfun. But yeah, you should have counters for that one. Yeah, maybe we can unban something like a Hermit Druid or something like that. I'm not sure.
I think the Hermit Druid is probably too good.
Do you think it's too good? We're
Yeah, I
playing
think it's too
currently in a time where we have 8 remove spell main deck for him. So I think it's kind of okay-ish. Yeah, but most likely it should be something like Frantic Search, because yeah, high tide is not a problem. But maybe Marcus Ewald shows us that high tide with Frantic Search is just way too good. But I think you just play a few more Whale of Summers and then it's just fine.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, I think.
And that was our mailbag episode. We had really, really nice and great questions from you. And yeah, we love doing this.
Yeah. From Glühwein über Gmiatliche Hittn to unbans, it was just an amazing episode, I would say. I mean, I felt good.
It's a little bit longer than the usual episode. That normally we try to keep it under an hour. But yeah, I think this one goes a little bit longer this time.
Yeah. I think
If you like what we are doing, just consider supporting us on Patreon and tell your friends about our podcast. That would be the greatest thing you can do for us.
yeah, it helps out. So, yeah. Do we have any
Where-
advertisements at the end?
Advertisements, yeah. I have an advertisement. Hop onto our Discord if you want to ask us some questions that we can go over in our podcast. And yeah, just follow us on social media. Speaking of social media, follow us on Twitter at response_legacy, and also follow our sister project, the Austrian Legacy League, on Twitter. It's at Austrian_legacy. Where can we find you, Daniel, on social media?
On social media, you can find me at Flying Delver on Twitter, and more frequently on Discord, of course, and on my website on greatness@anycost.com, where we can find you, Peter.
You can find me mostly on Twitter and on our own In Response, a Legacy podcast, or In Response, a Legacy Discord server. But on Twitter, you can find me with @UnicornLord, but the O in the Lord is a 0. And let us not forget it, if the listeners are still listening here, we have Jeff Laubenstein on the Back to Magic event in February 2022. And updates will follow shortly on this episode. And yeah, we keep you updated.
That's it for this time. We'll see you again on the 17th of December.
Yeah.
for the next Christmas episode where we have maybe a special guest.
But maybe. In response, the end.
This was In Response, a Legacy podcast. If you enjoyed the ride, feel free to support the show by following, leaving a review, or subscribe on patreon.com/response_legacy.